Hello, if you are reading the news about portable audio market, you have probably noticed that more and more small DABs appears on the market. FIO announced new affordable M3K. Recently Hibizs R3 was released recently, and there are a lot of other different models. Shenling created their M0, and actually their M1 is also present on the market. I think they will update M1 in near future because it's already pretty outdated, but they will update it to be on par with other models. And Hidizs decided not to stay aside, and they've announced a model with Hidizs AP80. Really good small player that is now live on the Kickstarter. It's a bit more than 2 weeks late, and you can get it with pretty good discount. So basic version is $115. For $130 you can have version with case. If I remember right, $190 it's with Seeds earphones, and for $200 you can get stainless steel version. And they promise to deliver players in November, and actually I've got pre-production version, and I suppose they will deliver them because this sample looks really finished and pretty mature. So let's have a closer look now. Box is traditional, it's made of black cardboard, and the most interesting thing is technical specifications on the back side. So it's really small device, 70 grams of weight, 2.5 inch screen with great resolution, 480 by 360, USB bidirectional digital to analog converter, USB on the go, Bluetooth with aptX, FM radio, pedometer function they put in this player. As a digital to analog converter used ES9218, pretty good and wise solution. It supports all highest resolutions, all formats, including TSD128. Headphone output is regular 3.5 mm. Output power is 75 milliwatts per channel for the 32 ohms load, less than 1 ohm of output impedance, good figures of dynamic range and so on. No onboard memory, but TF card supported up to 512 gigabytes. So USB Type-C connector, 800 mAh battery. They stated about 15 hours of battery lifetime, but I've got about 11 hours, a bit more. Charging time stated here 2 hours, but I've got I need to charge. Charging took me about 1 hour and a half, so it's a bit faster. So inside of this box, pretty predictably, you will have player, and underneath you will get accessory set. One spare protective film, but actually thanks to the Hidizs they already applied one. They applied protective screens from factory. USB Type-C cable and USB to micro USB cable to use it, for example, with smartphone as digital to analog converter or for some other usage. So accessory set is pretty basic, and I probably suggest you to order it with case. I think for $50 case is a nice addition here. So player is really small. It's probably the smallest reasonable size for the player. Of course, it can be even smaller, like M0. Let me do size comparison. So as you can see, it's noticeably smaller, but in this case usability suffers. And it's also almost similar in size with Shenling's M1. I think Shenling in near future will update M1. It would be pretty logical for them. But it's small and it's really pocketable, it's really nice, but it's built really good. Frame is made of aluminum. As I've said before, you can get also stainless steel version. Back and front panel are made of glass, and it looks really stylish. If you've seen my review of Hidizs DH1000, I've mentioned that I'd like to see a player with the same design as this digital tonal converter, and here it is. Well, at least it's pretty close in terms of design. On the bottom there is USB Type-C connector and headphones output. Headphones output is regular 3.5mm, and USB Type-C can be used for charging, to use it as USB digital tonal converter, to output signal to the external USB dock, and so on. And here is micro SD slot. You will need it because there is no on-board memory, and volume rotator, volume control. It also can be clicked to turn player on and off. And actually Hidizs made really smart move. They put these 3 hardware playback control buttons. This wheel is clickable, it also uses as on-off button, and it can be used to turn screen off and lock it. Here you can see boot up, pretty fast. Here used Hidizs operation system. Control is done via sensor screen. Screen is pretty good in terms of quality, it has enough brightness. Maybe on the bright sun you will need to cover it a little bit, but it's still bright enough. Good viewing angles, normal touch response, so good resolution, good colors, so one of the best screens. And actually, as you can see, it's put nicely, put in an interesting way. There is almost no border from these 3 sides, and the border is placed here. Firmware is made by Hidizs or Hidizs, still got no idea how to pronounce them correctly, because I've heard all versions. And it's really close in terms of features and usability to their R3, with the exception of Wi-Fi. And another difference here in AP80 used this menu. It consists actually of 5 items. I don't know why they just put one separate. It's a bit not logical, but anyway. So let's move from minor to bigger functions. So about, as you can probably see, it's firmware version and another not so interesting information. System settings. It's let me scroll it to up. Language selection, music database update, brightness, I set it to my maximum now. Color scheme, you can actually select some color and everything will have this tint. Sorry, font size, middle, backlight time, USB mode, it's USB, digital tonal converter or dock. I don't know what will be the dock mode, but anyway, we'll see. Button operation with screen off, time settings, because it has watch. Idle timer, sleep timer, battery percentage, show auto no, standby mode. Actually, let's activate it. Inliner mode, screensaver settings, it can show album cover, some dynamic screensaver, or it can be turned off. Restore factory settings and firmware update. Actually, about firmware, I'm using beta version, but it's pretty reliable, you know. Step counter, I didn't use it, but it's present. I'm not sure will it be useful, but anyway. FM radio, so as usual you will have to plug the headphones for it to be operational. So here it is, actually it's working. You can scan it, select sensitivity, and it's pretty working. Unfortunately, there is no support of RDS, but anyway, I think I can live with it. Actually, quality of radio a bit worse than in Fuse M7, but I think it's still pretty acceptable for the small portable player. And main application, it's actually player. It's made by Hidizs, and it's really noticeable. So here is no song list. Let me choose something. All files. So here is now playing screen. Big part of screen occupied by album cover. it looks nice. If lyrics is present, it can display it. Play order, tracks navigation, progress. I like that finally they made it not circular. And here is a pop-up menu. List now playing, add to playlist, equalizer, view album, properties, and delete. Properties, it's for example additional information about the track. One swipe away, you can find media library. So by default it's all tracks, files, albums, artists and genres. And this menu item is playlists, favorites, recent and custom playlists. Actually it's a bit hard to hit proper buttons when you're looking through the camera. And well, you can use swipes for navigation, or you can use these buttons. And the additional menu, so database update, it's pretty familiar. It's MSEB, it's magic something 8 ball, I don't remember what is some S means here. It's a pretty good way to tune the sound. You turn it on, then you can change overall sound temperature, bass extension, bass texture, note thickness, and so on. It's fun feature developed by Hidizs, and it's working pretty okay if you like sound tuning. Or you can use a regular equalizer. Let me turn it on. Actually everything is pretty predictable here, just missing this button. Small buttons on the small screen. Actually there are presets. Move back, Bluetooth settings, so you can turn on Bluetooth. Here will be device name, Hidizs link, quality, so aptX supported, it's typical set of features. And playback settings, there are pretty lot of them. Play mode, resume play from last position, gapless playback, maximum volume, fixed power on volume when it's turned on, crossfade, I don't see reason in turning this on. Gain, replay gain, nice feature to have if you have some mixed music in one folder. Balance, filter settings, as you can see all filters are listed here that is present in the digital to analog converter. Play through folders and play through albums, so pretty lot of settings. And we can exit player. Swipe from up to bottom opens quick settings menu, Bluetooth, gain, dark mode, and so on. Swipe from bottom, it's volume, currently playing, and brightness. So firmware is pretty stable, working pretty good, so maybe it's not 100% perfect and polished, but anyway I think it's pretty acceptable, it plays everything, it's pretty stable, so Hidizs done their job well here. Before I proceed to sound description, I will do another small comparison. It's Hidizs R3, as you can see it's bigger, but not that bigger. And another, I think, comparison is the screens. I'm not sure is video showing that correctly, but actually brightness level and overall quality of screens are pretty close. Of course Hidizs screen is a bit bigger, and another fact that it's a bit warmer, while this one is a bit colder in terms of color, but anyway it has good resolution and good brightness, so I can't say that this screen is much worse. So, about the sound, actually, you know, this small dub really reminds me Hidizs DH1000 Sonata, if I remember right, their digital to analog converter. I reviewed it recently and I was pretty surprised by its sound characteristics and its performance. And actually in this small player, Hidizs decided to create pretty good sound signature. It's natural, you know, it's not colored without any additional accents, without any additional coloration. It's natural, but it's not too monitoring, too natural to be sound dry and lifeless. So they found pretty good balance of probably enjoyment of emotions and neutrality. It's definitely more neutral than, let's say, R3. But anyway, let's move step by step. Let me see what we have as an example of lower frequencies, let's say. So let me see. Well, some electronic music can always come in handy. And here is the glitch mob to demonstrate low frequencies. They are really good defined, but if you like accented lows, then probably you will need to use an equalizer or this MSEB feature, because this player is pretty natural in terms of lows. Bass here has good resolution, good separation, of course not like some expensive model, but still pretty nice. And I like its texturing, and I like its overall representation. It has normal rumble and it goes pretty deep. Depth's probably not the best one, but for this price range it's pretty normal. So, and if you like accented lows, probably it's not the best option for you, but I think you can always get more basic headphones, or you can just engage equalizer. Mids are good, they are great for this price range, and they are good overall. They have good good representation of emotions, great control, and what I like here, it's ability to build good spacious imaginary stage. It's pretty efficient, and it sounds really lively, with great positioning and with good amount of air between all these instruments and so on. As an example, let's say the quintet, great jazz recordings, for example Salt Peanuts. It's a bit of jazz joke, but it's really good recording, and you can definitely position all these instruments on the stage. Just close your eyes and imagine everything is placed. This player is really good for this price in representing vocals. I really must highlight that, because they are pretty emotional, and it's really good in representing instruments, nuances of the instruments, because of this good mids. And treble here is a bit accented, at least in the most recent firmware. So I should find some treble example. Well. By the way, it can be Witherscape. There is good percussions, good recorded here. Of course, I don't use heavy genres for testing, but I enjoy this music, and it's a good demonstration. By the way, I'm not sure is video showing that, but really good screen quality. It's really crisp and shown nicely. So treble has good extension. Of course, it's lacking layering of expensive models, and the text in decays are simplified here, but resolution is really nice, and it's really realistic. There is no any any artificial sounding, any unnatural coloration in treble, and I'm pretty sensitive to this part of the sonic range, so it's pretty good. And I must admit it reminds me this DH1000 treble, but of course it just reminds because DH1000 is one of the best DACs in terms of treble. Actually, I've tried to connect it to this player as a source, connect this player as a source to the DH1000, and it's working. So, to summarize this part, really good sound and really pretty natural, but very natural and engaging, and it has enough power to drive even full-size headphones. Not of course some power-hungry models, but it's still pretty okay, and it has almost zero hiss and background noise even with most sensitive models. Of course there is a slight background noise with Andromedas, but Andromeda almost always has this noise. But i5's image really helps to deal with that. But anyway, I think that it's the best sounding DAP in this price range currently. And a few comparisons. Actually, there are a lot of small players and in this price range. I think I will create a longer review about all of them, but just a few comparisons. So, Hidizs AP60 Mark II. Actually, AP80 is better. I think it just outclasses this model. So this one is good if you want some hardware buttons, but anyway, you know, this has hardware control buttons too, and to navigate you just use a sensor screen, so I think it's more convenient. Sonically this one is more resolving and a bit faster and with better staging. Another popular small model is Shenlink M0, and AP80 is better also because it's less colored, with much better imaginary stage depth, with better resolution and with more natural sound. So Shenlink M1 is closer to AP80, but AP80 is a bit more resolving also. This one has a bit more accented lows, but anyway it's sound pretty natural too. So what else? R3 is bigger, it's more expensive of course, but sonically it's warmer, it's a bit more colored, it's more energetic and emotional, but it's a bit less resolving on mids. But this one is more natural, so it's a matter of what your preferences. And of course it's not small, but it's still pretty pocketable, and in this price range, FiOS M7, it's close to R3, so I just put it here. So it's a bit more resolving on mids and a bit more accented on lows and treble, so it's a bit funnier sounding player. So to summarize everything, Hidizs created really good player. It's available now on Kickstarter with discount, and I think it's a good opportunity to grab one, because you know it's already really good and they are constantly improving it. They promise that they will release LDAC support and probably AAC support, so we will have new versions of firmware with better features and so on. But even now it's really good both in terms of design, build quality and sonical performance. Thank you for attention.